Yes, welcome everyone. It's Cannabis News. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's December 2nd, 2019. The show, as always, is presented by the Marijuana Times. Find us at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab there to find the show. Also, a lot of great articles, social media links, and more. marijuanatimes.org. You'll notice if you're watching the video version of the show that I've added some contact information to the little display at the bottom. I was looking at the YouTube comments earlier. Search the Marijuana Times on YouTube to find the show, and I'm going to start responding to them from my YouTube channel as much as I can. I'll try to get in that habit of that, responding to comments, because I get kind of behind on them, and they're not relevant anymore by the time I get to them. And I'll try to get better caught up with that. The Stoner Jesus 420 is my YouTube. That's the account you'll see comments coming from, but also some contact information there. Whoops, hit the microphone. That's bad. It's a broadcasting faux pas. Contact stonerjesus420 at gmail.com. That's my email. For those of you who just want to contact me directly, maybe you sell a story, something relevant about a story that I talked about, maybe something I did wrong or said wrong, and you have pertinent information that I need to know about, you can contact me. I'm on Twitter a lot at stonerjesus420, but email I check all the time, stonerjesus420 at gmail.com, so you can contact me there. And as I said, I'll try to respond as best I can and in a timely fashion as I can to the YouTube comments on the Marijuana Times channel. Go find us there. Today we're talking about the FDA issuing a new report on CBD. Also, crowds lining up for the first day of sales in Michigan of adult use marijuana, and looking back at a year of adult use marijuana sales in Massachusetts. All of that coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free with Natureside. Don't use harmful chemicals or banned pesticides. Use Natureside. Be regulatory compliant in the state that you're growing in. Nature-side.com, a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Thank you, Natureside, for all of your awesomeness. This first story is from marijuanatimes.org by Jason Sander. FDA issues report detailing the safety of CBD-infused products. The report was titled, "What You Need to Know About CBD." It contains information about the safety of products containing the cannabinoid. The agency also issued warnings to 15 companies who they say were marketing CBD products in an unlawful way, or in unlawful ways, plural. Currently, there was only one FDA-approved CBD-based medication, of course, Epidiolex, which treats rare forms of epilepsy. The FDA is concerned that people may mistakenly believe that trying CBD can't hurt. The update reads, "The agency wants to be clear that we have seen only limited data about CBD safety, and these data point to real risks that need to be considered." The report from the FDA also states that it is currently illegal to label foods containing CBD as dietary supplements. The report also points out studies showing that ingesting CBD could cause liver damage and interactions with medications a person might be taking. The report warns, the test shows some CBD products have reduced testosterone in lab mice. FDA and the federal government are working on more CBD regulations, rolling those things out over time. I'm not optimistic that the federal government is going to be in any way hands-off when it comes to CBD. I think they're going to be very involved. Once they do jump in, they're going to do it the same way they do with every other product. They're going to jump in with both feet and be highly involved in regulating this, down to claims made by various companies and so forth, the way the FDA does with other products. So they'll be very involved with CBD once the federal government finally gets off the fence and says, hey, we're taking control of this now. Then they'll have no problem telling you all about it, what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing, etc. This next story, click on Detroit.com, brings it to us. Crowds line up for first day of legal marijuana sales. A handful of shops, mostly in Ann Arbor, are approved to start selling. They are approved. They started Sunday, the 3 shops in Ann Arbor. I wrote an article, which was published today in the Marijuana Times, marijuanatimes.org, laying a lot of this out and pointing out the problems and the slowness with which all of this will come online. It's going to be a while before your average cannabis consumer in Michigan can just get in the car and drive 5 minutes and go buy some marijuana. It's not going to work that way for quite a long time, not only because of the slowness of the rollout, but the fact that most communities in Michigan have banned marijuana businesses, including Detroit for the time being. So basically Ann Arbor and Grand Rapids are going to be the biggest cities where you can get recreational marijuana, and a few other towns and jurisdictions dotted throughout the state. But it's about 1,400 of Michigan's nearly 1,800 cities, townships, and villages aren't allowing recreational businesses. It's going to be a long process, the way we've seen in Massachusetts, which I'm about to talk about. Also in California, which some would say the process has gotten even longer in California. Now they're talking about raising taxes more on recreational marijuana starting next year, and it's unhelpful. And it seems, if I were a more cynical person, like they don't know what they're doing, the state government in California. I don't know. Is that possible? I think it is. This last story from mass-cannabis-control.com, basically the state regulatory agency that oversees retail marijuana sales and recreational marijuana in Massachusetts. This is a press release from November 20th, so it's a couple weeks old. It's still relevant, and we didn't get to it at the time, so we're getting to it now. First year of adult use marijuana retail operations in Massachusetts tallies $393.7 million in gross sales, sets benchmarks for growth. 1 year since Massachusetts became the first state to open adult use marijuana retailers on the East Coast, licensees have generated the $393.7 million in gross sales and established the previously referred to benchmarks. Marijuana retailers and consumers should be commended for participating in an extremely smooth rollout of the legal adult use cannabis industry in Massachusetts for the first year, said Commission Chairman Stephen J. Hoffman. He went on to say hundreds of millions of dollars in sales are one measure of success. But I'm even prouder of the way in which the marijuana establishments have worked with the Commission to gain and preserve compliance with our regulations, and patrons continue to inform themselves about the law and their responsibilities when they visit Massachusetts stores. Doesn't seem like a year, but yeah, time flies when you're selling marijuana. Kay Doyle, commissioner, said, "I'm proud of the hard work done by the commission team to get us here. I look forward to watching the industry continue to develop safely, equitably, and sustainably." Since the first two marijuana retailers commenced operations in Massachusetts last November, 33 total have opened statewide. Another 54 retailers with provisional or final license approval are in the process of completing the Commission's inspection and compliance procedures toward that end. In total, the Commission has licensed 227 marijuana establishments, including cultivators, product manufacturers, micro-businesses, and more. They have a handy little map, if you want to click that link in the description of this video, of where these businesses are in the various counties of Massachusetts. So again, Massachusetts is a good place to look when we talk about what's Michigan going to look like in a year, what's Illinois going to look like in a year, what's Maine going to look like when they eventually get around, to implementing the will of the voters from the vote that happened over 3 years ago now in Maine. It's slow. I mean, it's slow. It's, it trickles out. It's whatever phrases you want to use to describe it. It's something that's going to take a while. When adult use sales start in your state, whenever that may be, like I said, it's going to be a long time before you can just go, oh, man, I'm going to run down to the store and get some marijuana. It's not going to work that way. But we can get it to that point, and that's what we have to keep doing. As I've said many times before, after legalization, there's still a lot of work to be done, improving the legalization law and making sure that the government officials, who tend to be incompetent in many areas, do not screw up the implementation of said law in whatever state the law is passed in. We continue to cover all of those stories, of course, here at Cannabis News. We're here 5 days a week. MarijuanaTimes.org is where you can find us. Also YouTube and Vimeo. Keep checking us out, sharing, liking, commenting, all that stuff. Spreading the truth about cannabis with this show. With the audio version, check out Apple Podcasts for that. Thank you to NatureSide, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Thanks to you, all of you, for watching and listening today. We'll see you next time, right here on Cannabis News.